Demi Lovato is getting hotter each day. Hello everyone, and welcome to One Mail. In this video, we talk about the famous Demi Lovato, her transformation, and what her initial motive might be. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel and like this video for more content like this. I thought I'd discuss Demi Lovato and her mom's body without being a mom. I don't know when the photos in this thumbnail picture were taken. When I posted it on Twitter, people shared other newer pictures of her that looked very sexy, but those photos were taken from the front, and you couldn't see her profile. Some people even said the picture in the thumbnail isn't even her. But if you look at the short hair and the tattoos and visitor podcasts on YouTube from about a year ago, you'll realize it is her. Plus, she's wearing baggy clothing that makes her look even grumpier than she is. So what happened? She still has a pretty face and a friendly voice. So why did she put on all this weight, become non-binary and dress this way? Which happens when you wake up simultaneously when you hit the wall. She's 30 now, and the music industry is brutal for women. Even if they keep writing great songs, the audience moves on to more attractive women who are prettier, younger, and more fertile. Mind you, I liked some of Demi Lovato's earlier songs and commented on them on YouTube. I even predicted that one of her songs would become a hit early on, and it received almost 1 billion views. Still, she's falling into the trap of catering to a less attractive lesbian audience like the artists THONG and Dragonettes. While they don't strictly come out as being lesbians, what they do is project ambiguous sexuality onto their music videos and their appearance to appeal to young women in their early to mid-20s who are attracted to older, more masculine-looking females in their 30s. The 20 and 30-year-old guys no longer find them as attractive as they once did, so instead, such musicians embrace their inner butch to get those bucks, but there's a fine line there, and Lovato seems to have stepped over it. The other artist I mentioned kept their sexuality ambiguous to some extent and didn't radically alter their appearance and say they are non-binary. I see women who beef up their bodies to appear progressive as lazy with a good excuse. I don't know about you, but I've dated women in the past. The vast majority were slobs. They would hang their underpants inside their ovens to warm them up before they wore them on their televisions and in other strange places. Their cosmetics would also cover entire counters without room to spare, gathering dust. Lovato wants people to address her as they and them. She uses all the buzzwords and says she feels fluid in her gender expression. I've said that 15% of the Zoomers and 8% of the millennials identify as LGBTQ if the trend continues in the next 10 years. The second cohort of Zoomers will probably be well over 20%. Many people have told me that's because it's the popular thing to do. The tricky part about being in the entertainment industry is that, after a while, you have to reinvent yourself if you want to survive. One aspect of the process is finding a value system and an image you can identify with and believe in. The other part is ensuring it doesn't alienate your older audience while transitioning to a new one. You want to overlap with both. You'd think that Lovato probably burned many of her bridges when she packed the pounds and went from calling herself a sheep to call herself they, but I don't see that if you look at her YouTube channel. She's gone from just over 1 million views in early 2021 to 45 to 50 million views monthly. Lovato got fat. Her audience also beefed up and ballooned up 50-fold. We can fat shame her and weight shame her all we want, but whatever she's doing, it either resonates with YouTube's algorithm or with an actual audience. Looking at her Social Blade statistics, her new number of subscribers is falling, but the views keep increasing. That's suspicious, and it makes me believe that she's part of some woke plan, and that's why big platforms are pushing her like YouTube. Because the idea is that beautiful women with high sexual marketplace value should be willing to reduce their sexual weight, feminists like this because they see it as a way to punish men. When women don't live up to so-called patriarchal beauty standards, most of us don't care, though all we do is find younger female musicians to listen to that are still feminine. There are always women willing to exploit their tits for clicks instead of hiding them deep inside a duffel bag that doubles up as a shirt. I think the whole woke non-binary belief system will go away once YouTube stops rewarding it with added promotion and money. But until that happens, you'll see more people embrace the stink of ambiguous sexual identity. I was going through my Twitter feed the other day, and a woman complained that 3 girls in her daughter's class were transitioning and on male hormones, and 1 kid was non-binary. So this is growing somewhat quickly. I believe Lovato is exploiting this for her financial gain. They probably don't understand the insidious nature of what's going on out there. The most convincing people are those who believe a line promoted as the truth or those who get paid to do so and are just good actors. Speaking of transitioning to an unidentifiable form, I'm in the process of reinventing myself in this Sigma sphere. I'm trying to carry over philosophy very covertly to the most productive and desirable men in our society. I'm coining phrases like relationships in marriage are kryptonite for your mind and kryptonite for your grind. I believe in Sigma because I realize I have all its characteristics and have had them my entire life, so it's a natural fit for me to fully self-actualize. That's what Demi Lovato should have done instead of going woke. Then again, maybe someone tapped her on her non-binary shoulder and told her that if she projected a specific image, she would have a big success on YouTube. There are firms that musicians and actors hire to help them shape their vision to get a bigger audience. Maybe those firms understood YouTube and told Demi that she had the option to go non-binary and see her popularity remained somewhat firm after she turned 30. Then again, maybe she just snorted too much of that weight coke and believes in being non-binary. We'll never know because even if she's doing all this for fame and fortune, do you think she will tell anyone? She has over 17 million subscribers on YouTube, as I mentioned. Her views continue to rise, although I can't see which new individual videos are boosting her view counts. I think they are old videos. Something shady is going on out there. What do you guys think? For the rest of the video, I want to discuss a blind spot that many guys have. When it comes to getting an education, there only seem to be two ways of thinking about this. The first way is to go to university and get into debt to get a degree. The second way is to go out and get some trade programs and then get a job in a practical field. So recently, the men go into fields that are all practiced with little to no theory, and the women go to college. 65 to 70% of admissions are female, and they get all the idea with little to no action. What about getting a polytechnic education? That's where you spend half your time learning theory and the other half putting it into practice. The university I went to is Polytechnic, an excellent way to get a more rounded education instead of something that keeps you narrow-minded. In much of Canada, people would get 4-year degrees and spend 3 more years at a community college. Picking up an actual skill makes sense when schooling is still affordable, but not when it's $150 to $200K for 7 years required to complete that education. If you can still find it, Polytechnic gets you out in about 4 years. You get taught by professors with PhDs and instructors with real-world practical experience. I took that for granted when I was in school, and it wasn't until I left that I realized that I was lucky enough to get everything I needed in 4 years instead of 7. But it's almost as if the system wants women to learn theory and be higher in the hierarchy of getting schooling and jobs while encouraging men to stay as dumb as Joe Bag of Donuts and be doers instead of thinkers. Tesla believed that women, given a chance and equality, would rise to rival men. Still, if he were alive today, he would realize that female nature is not as productive and inventive as he initially believed. They didn't understand the whole IQ bell curve and how they are more males on the high and low ends than females typically in the middle. But he was right when he said that women try to mimic the male appearance, speech, and behavior. He could see the start of all the transgender non-binary madness even back then. But women weren't dazzling society with their brilliance back then as well as today because they are statistically a lot less brilliant. Some seek to achieve that degree of genius, while others merely utilize other men for personal gain, taking advantage of their wealth. I discussed the impact of inflation on women, their reactions to it, and how they may turn to men out of desperation. Be sure to check my previous video to know more about this topic.